Hi, this is Kumar Singh from Design Analytics LLC, and you're watching another episode of Maverick Mondays. Well, as promised last week, we are going to review a high-level overview of a end-to-end railway network management platform. So when I say management, it pertains to management of both the operations as well as the infrastructure of the platform. Now, one key thing here to understand is that it does not require rocket science to actually build these comprehensive views, right? And specifically from a technology perspective, there is plethora of work out there and in every space, and that's the reason when I say that I somehow feel confident in the fact that you can design a solution for almost all of the problems. Not just AI, using AI, there could be non-AI methods as well that may in some cases work more effectively, and then there can be AI enabled approaches for solutions for problems for which we never had a solution when it comes to conventional technologies, right? But the gist is technologies exist out there, right? If you have some clarity in terms of how you are going to design a solution, you can find a technology. So there's no rocket science there, right? I mean, there is rocket science, but perhaps it has already been solved by people, much smarter people, and they have already probably designed a technology around it. The real beauty of building these platforms, these solutions, is thinking about them and understanding what are the different components of the problem, what are the different aspects of technologies, and the most important aspect, how will these components of technology come together with people and processes to build the overall solution. In this case, hundreds or thousands of these solutions need to come together to build a comprehensive platform like this, right? Now, I have written, or in one of the Maverick Monday episodes that I used to publish now more than a year ago, I think I kind of shared one solution which was something like this, right? Not exactly this, I had to redraw because I lost all those videos, as you know, but that was after some kind of train accident because of some issues with the railway tracks, that I proposed that you can have a device like this, right, that runs on the tracks, uses many different technologies like IoT, deep learning, smart cameras, and helps you basically not only kind of do a diagnostic but also more like a preventive measure in terms of any issues while it's traveling on a track can be identified, right? This is obviously much a more comprehensive view. So if we kind of start looking at a typical, like, let's take one hypothetical train that is going from station A to B, for example, to kind of simplify things, right? Because railway operations, especially when you have a big network, are very complicated. But to simplify, so if a train is going from station A to B, there would be a yard from which the train would actually come to the platform. From there it starts its journey and goes to platform B. Now, there are obviously two key aspects, right? Three key aspects actually, right? One is the planning, right? There are obviously thousands of these dispatches and journeys happening at the same time. That's the planning aspect. The second is the operation, the actual movement of train from one place to another and to its destination, and then the maintenance of all the infrastructure within, right? And AI can actually help transform each of these areas. In fact, even before that, when it comes to strategic planning, AI can actually help you think about what's the best way to think about laying or installing railway networks. What's the most optimal way? And when I say all this is based on actual research out there, right? So I will kind of keep sharing some of the snapshots here, but those are just examples, remember, right? So in the planning stage, for example, these two, right? Then in the operations stage, this is another example, right? And when I say operations, it's more like not day-to-day operations, but when you are actually executing, you are laying down tracks, for example. Then comes the operation, the dispatching aspect, right? When you are dispatching, you are a dispatcher at a key major railway station. There are like hundreds of trains going to get dispatched, obviously. Constrained resources, and the good news is that this has been a mathematical problem for a long time, and there are optimization solutions that already exist. So imagine pairing these optimization solutions with deep learning, right? Again, the technology capabilities and the work already exists, right? So we have covered planning, we have covered dispatching. Then there is this high level overview, visibility, real-time tracking, right? Understanding within zones, and then all within different zones of a railway network, how these zones then basically aggregate and what's going on. That there's a excuse me, there's generally a big silo because of the complexity of the data and information in some primitive ways. This is one area, as you can imagine, with all the plethora of data getting generated, where AI can actually do a very, very good job. Then comes the maintenance ones, the ones that I have been sharing a lot about, right? Here, obviously, AI can do again a very, very good job, right? From predicting the failure of assets, like even railway bridges, right? You can have scouting drones, right? Which can keep scouting like on a fixed schedule, basically scouting the infrastructure, bridges to understand. Then you have the diagram for the tracks, like the equipment that I was showing earlier in the episode. So it helps you maintain the infrastructure as well, right? So traffic management, infrastructure, operations planning. But the key here is to kind of bring that all together in one comprehensive view, and that is what we are seeing here, right? Again, like I said, there's nothing here that I have envisioned. Everything already exists, but the beautiful aspect here is understanding, okay, how all these can come together. This is just illustrative. Imagine the complexities of a huge network, right? But bringing all that together in one comprehensive platform is the challenging, the beautiful, and the most impactful part, because doing this in silos, especially when you are doing it in a very complex network, means that by the time you get to a specific project, right, the benefits, first of all, they might not kind of cascade or might not even get realized, because the real benefit would kind of arise when these implementations happen at the same time across at least few key different modules. So the key here is, as you can see, is to identify, okay, which of these modules should we start, which of these sections we should start with, which of these projects we should start with. Then start understanding the people, processes, and technology aspects of this, right? So I hope you liked the episode. I'll be back again tomorrow. Thanks for watching.